It happened. It actually happened. The Father's Day weekend, the entire internet was circling like vultures around a cracked windshield. The one Stefon Diggs basically pre-warned us about on a burner page he thought nobody could trace, did not unfold the way the receiver sketched it out in his head over a long Saturday night of damage control. It unfolded the way Cardi B sketched it out in hers, in red ink, in a notebook none of us were ever meant to read. Because while Stefon Diggs was busy posting that prickly little meme telling fans not to slide into his page on Sunday with sweet Happy Father's Day messages, Offset was already pulling up to Wave's school in the kind of car that exists to be photographed. The duffel bag was already zipped. The shot list was already framed. And Cardi B, the woman everybody assumed would clap back loudest, was nowhere on the timeline. Which, if you have studied the way she fights, is exactly where she wanted to be. Pause whatever you are doing right now. This one is not a rumor. This one is a coronation, and we have the receipts to walk you through it minute by minute. Welcome back to the channel. And if you are new here, plant a seat, because we are about to take a forensic walk through the cleanest revenge campaign American pop culture has produced since the last time a woman in a red dress decided she was tired. Hit subscribe, because the next 48 hours are going to break this triangle into pieces, and you are going to want a guide who is not reading from a press release. Let me roll the tape back for a moment, because new eyes are landing on this story for the first time, and you deserve the full chain of custody. 3 weekends ago, Cardi B stepped out in a red dress that the entire timeline immediately clocked as a near frame-for-frame echo of a look she wore during the Offset era back in 2019. Not similar, not casually inspired. A side-by-side replica, down to the neckline, down to the drape of the fabric, down to the exact shade of lipstick, down to the precise heat in her stare. She did not pick that dress out of a closet by accident. She does not pick anything by accident. This is the woman who basically told the cameras years ago that her stylist is her right hand and her wardrobe is her press release. So 3 weekends before Father's Day, she faxed the press release straight to the timeline. Red dress. A staged proximity shot with Quavo at a club nobody can name. A camera roll nobody could unsee. And what did Stefon Diggs do with it? He did not call her. He did not text her in front of cameras like a man defending what is his. Stefon Diggs went to a private burner page, the kind that one of his second cousin's friends just so happened to have access to, and he started typing like a man losing chess to a queen he never realized was playing. Then Offset showed up at Wave's school. And here is where the pacing turns surgical, because that Wave school appearance was not the day after the red dress. Stefon Diggs has to live with this part, so let me say it slowly. Wave's school visit landed the day after the burner meltdown went semi-public, which means somebody on her side of the war room, or she herself, made sure Offset's family man optic dropped into the slot, where it would cancel out his bitter man optic. In the cold case files of gossip strategy, that is what we call a pincer movement executed with a stopwatch and a stiletto. Now we get to Sunday, the day Stefon Diggs essentially begged his audience not to send him a Happy Father's Day. The day Cardi B did not post a single photo of him. Not a feed slot. Not a story slide. Not even a quiet like on a meme he could screenshot later as evidence of warmth. Total digital frostbite. Meanwhile, what did make it to the timeline? Wave in matching white linen with Offset. Culture grinning in the corner of the frame. Cardi B visible only as a soft glow in the reflection of a champagne flute. Present, but uncredited, ghost producer of the whole tableau. Which, and I want you to really sit with this, is the exact framing language of a magazine cover. The mother as the holy ghost. The father as the visible patriarch. The children as the proof of legacy. And Stefon Diggs? Cardi B did not just leave him out. She had him airbrushed out so completely you would not even know he had been in the room. This is not a woman who is gently reconciling with Offset over coffee. This is a woman running a 6-month soft launch of a reunified family brand, with quarterly checkpoints and creative directors who have never lost a campaign. Because here is the part nobody is whispering out loud yet, and you need to hear it from somebody who has watched this exact arc play out 3 times before. Cardi B's biggest revenue quarters historically land during her Offset chapters. Brand partners, the Pepsis of the world, the Reeboks of the world, Fashion Nova at scale, the small army of luxury houses circling her sample size, they all prefer the redemption arc. They prefer the family unit. They prefer the woman who fought, fell, came back, and rebuilt over the woman who is mid-collapse with an injured wide receiver. Her war room knows this. Her manager knows this. Her label knows this. And on Father's Day weekend 2026, her operation ran the play that pace. Now, file this one under corridor whisper rather than courtroom transcript, because I am giving you what the rooms are saying, not what an affidavit is saying. But the rooms are saying the Quavo club night was not a one-off. The rooms are saying Quavo, the Offset camp, and the Takeoff estate handlers have been in quiet conversation for months about a Migos legacy project, and a Bronx Queen feature would not just be a song. It would be the cultural reset of the decade. If that whisper is even half true, then the red dress was not romance. The Quavo photo was not coincidence. They were business signals. A merger memo written in the cipher of paparazzi flashes. Now, stay with me on this, because I already see what you are about to type in the comments. You are going to say, but they had a real thing. You are going to say there were real feelings, real nights, a real proposal whispered somewhere we never got to verify. And maybe you are right. Maybe Cardi B did genuinely lean on him during a season where Offset's name was a four-letter word in her house. I am not denying any of that. What I am telling you is that even real feelings cannot rescue a man who treats a queen like a placeholder. And from the outside looking in, he spent the entire run of that relationship treating her like a placeholder. He treated her like she was a soft landing between contracts. He treated her like she was the bridge between his last embarrassment and his next opportunity. And for a stretch of months, she let him. Because she, like most women who have been publicly humiliated, was trying to win on the same field she lost on. She was trying to make the new headline louder than the old headline. Anybody who has loved a man who did not deserve the love understands the exact temperature of that mistake. You are not weak. You are just human. You are trying to overwrite the receipts with new ones. But then something shifts. And the something is almost never a single moment. The something is usually the third or fourth time you watch the man you are dating walk into a story that does not include you. For Cardi B, that moment came when a natural body woman who was not a stranger to the wider rap universe was reportedly photographed comfortable inside his home, in his clothes, on his couch, in his air. Comfortable is the operative word. Comfortable does not happen in a single afternoon. Comfortable is a frequent flyer pass. And once she saw the comfort in that frame, the calculus changed. The calculus is always the same calculus. It is the calculus where a woman finally stops trying to be chosen and starts trying to be free. So she went quiet. And the quiet she went was not the quiet of a heartbroken woman. The quiet she went was the quiet of a general drawing fresh maps. Because in the next 3 weeks, every single move she made on the timeline was a vector. A vector toward the Father's Day choreography. A vector toward the Offset visual reunification. A vector away from Stefon Diggs and his orbit of younger, hungrier women trying to wear her life like a costume. She did not throw a tantrum. She did not write a subtweet essay. She did not call a podcast. She let the cameras do the work, because she has trained the cameras for a decade to come when she snaps her fingers. Let us walk through the receipts one by one, because I want you to see the architecture, not just the headlines. Receipt 1. Her caption from earlier in the week, the one that read in essence, "It is not my fault that it is always my turn." Now, when most fans read that line, they read it as a flex, as bravado, as a shrug at the universe, but read it with the architecture in mind. It is not my fault, she is saying, that I happen to be the brightest object in the room every time the room turns its head. It is not my fault that the algorithm of culture keeps refreshing the timeline to my face. It is not my fault that you keep watching, that you keep clicking, that you keep refreshing my page to see what I am wearing today. She was not bragging. She was politely informing her ex-flame that the spotlight is not a loner. The spotlight is an inheritance, and she inherited it the day she walked out of a strip club into a cultural moment that has not stopped expanding since. Receipt 2. The deletion. Multiple culture outlets, including the kind that do not run stories without two camps confirming, reported that Cardi B quietly wiped a curated set of his photographs off her main grid. Not all of them, because she is a strategist, and a strategist leaves a few stray frames in carousel posts to maintain plausible chaos. But the central, defining, stomach kiss image, the one that ran on every blog as the cornerstone of their hard launch, that one is gone. Vanished. Filed under archive. And in the same 48 hours, the Offset photographs stayed exactly where they were. Now, you tell me, when has she ever forgotten to delete anything on her own grid? She audits her grid the way a fund manager audits a portfolio. The Offset photographs did not survive by accident. They survived because she has decided, at minimum, that they are part of the future story she wants told. Receipt 3. The middle finger throwback. Cardi B reposted a 2003 versus 2026 middle finger image, which on its face is just a vibey post. But run the math. She announced her separation from Offset at the tail end of 2023. The 2026 middle finger image is not a random aesthetic. It is a date stamp. It is the Bronx Queen telling her ex-flame, "This is the moment my hands are free again. This is the moment my fingers stop pointing at the old marriage and start pointing at whatever the next chapter wants to be." And the next chapter, if you are paying attention to the Sunday tableau, is wearing white linen and waiting at the school gate. Receipt 4. The chain necklace dedicated to her youngest, a soft pendant that fans clocked immediately as a Blossom tribute. Now, the public timing of that necklace is critical. Cardi B did not flash that pendant during a baby announcement. She flashed that pendant on the same week that the natural body woman was reportedly seen leaving his house in clothes that were not hers. Read the choreography. She was sending an unmistakable signal to him and his orbit. Her identity is not up for negotiation. Her motherhood is not a costume in your video. Her body is not on loan. And while he was busy curating his Rolodex of soft launch options, she was busy wearing her children like armor. Now, lean in for a beat, because this is the part where the Stefon Diggs camp tries to rewrite the timeline. The Stefon Diggs camp would love for you to believe that the two of them had quietly fallen apart weeks earlier, that the entire natural body situation was simply the aftermath of an already cold relationship, that she had been a memory by the time those photographs surfaced. That is a beautiful story. It is also a story that an entire People magazine exclusive from May, sourced from voices that her camp does not deny, completely demolishes. The exclusive went on record describing him as a man who had stepped it up, who wanted to make it work, who had earned enough of her attention that the door she had cracked open never quite closed. You do not push that exclusive in May, then turn around in June and pretend the relationship had been a ghost for months. The math does not math. The story does not story. And the only person who can rewrite that timeline is the woman who actually owns the next chapter, and she is choosing to write that chapter with a different name on the marquee. Receipt 5. The mother. The Stefon Diggs mother situation deserves its own subsection, because if you have followed this saga for any length of time, you understand that family acceptance is the metric Cardi B prizes above almost any other public validation. His mother was visibly delighted to have her inside that family circle. The woman everyone has watched grow up on camera is the kind who shows up to your mother's brunch with a Chanel bag and a real laugh and an actual capacity to make your aunties feel seen. She is, by every honest account, an easy person to love into a family. So when she walks away from a man whose mother adored her, you understand the depth of the breach. She did not walk away because the family rejected her. She walked away because the man inside the family was not protecting her. And in the end, no matter how warm a mother cannot reach into her grown son's life and dictate the way he treats his woman. The mother might love you. The mother might pray for you. The mother might cheese in every photograph. But if the son has signaled to the household that you are dispensable, the household, quietly and over time, will follow. She has lived this lesson before. She refused to live it a second time. Receipt 6. The brand calendar. Walk with me on this, because the part that the casual viewer misses is that revenge in pop culture is almost never personal anymore. Revenge in pop culture is a rollout. Pull up the calendar nobody is publishing, and the architecture gets even louder. The next 90 days, by every signal her team has put into the air, are pointing at a fragrance launch, a streetwear capsule, a guest hosting slot at a major awards night, and a feature on a record that several major streaming editors have already started warming the playlists for. None of that survives a public reunification with a wide receiver caught with a younger woman in his living room. The board does not greenlight a redemption-era fragrance with a humiliated face on the bottle. The board greenlights it with a family unit on the bottle. The board greenlights it with a Sunday photograph that looks like a Vogue cover. The Father's Day choreography did not just close a relationship. The Father's Day choreography unlocked a fiscal quarter. And if you do not believe me, watch the press release feed for the next 40 days. The endorsements that drop in the next 40 days will not be casual. The endorsements that drop will be the kind that get briefed to media buyers at 3 in the morning, and the media buyers will be writing checks to a woman who looks, on every brief, like she has already won. Receipt 7. The body language tell. Pull up the slow motion clip from the wave drop-off and look at the way Offset is standing. He is not standing like a man trying to win his ex back. He is standing like a man who has already had the conversation. The conversation is already past tense. The shoulders are relaxed. The hand on Wave's back is unrehearsed. The smile is the small, private smile of a man who has been told, on a phone call we will never hear, that the door has been left open just enough for him to walk through it without breaking it. Compare that body language to the burner page meltdown screenshots from 48 hours earlier. Compare the calm of a man who knows to the chaos of a man who suspects. The temperature gap between those two frames is the entire story. The temperature gap is the receipt. Now let us pivot to the Stefon Diggs of it all, because this is the section of the breakdown where I lose my patience, and I would rather just say it. What, exactly, did Stefon Diggs ever build for her? Run the inventory with me. Did he sell her tour tickets? Did he choreograph a single set on her stage? Did he push a single record up the charts, ghost produce a hit, broker a deal with a fashion house, sit in a label meeting and fight for her vision? Stefon Diggs is a wide receiver who has spent a recent stretch of his career fighting to stay on a roster. He is not the engine of the Cardi B brand. He was, at best, a chapter. And the moment he started behaving as though the chapter was the whole book, the Bronx Queen picked up the pen. This is the part that fans of Stefon Diggs will not want to hear, but it is the part that has to be said in full daylight. The reason he cannot let go publicly is because he needs the proximity. He needs the algorithmic uplift that comes from being orbited by a woman who, even on a slow news day, pulls more attention than most starting quarterbacks. The day she fully exits his orbit, his search volume cuts in half. The endorsement conversations get colder. The blog posts dry up. He is not just losing a girlfriend in this story. He is losing a spotlight he was renting from her for free. And here is the part that should have been the warning shot for him months ago. Cardi B is the kind of woman who, once she sees the math, never unsees the math. She understands compounding interest in a way that men who have spent a career chasing 40-yard slants do not. Every photo he allowed to leak with a natural body woman in his clothes was a deposit into the breakup account. Every burner page comment he typed at 1 in the morning was a deposit. Every interview where he softened a public argument by saying, "You know, women just get like that sometimes," was a deposit. And on Father's Day weekend 2026, the account matured. She walked into the bank wearing red, withdrew the entire balance, and dropped the receipts on the counter without ever raising her voice. Now let us crack open the fan theories, because the comment section has done some of the real intelligence work this week, and the theories that have bubbled up in the last 72 hours deserve a serious second look. Theory 1. The champagne flute reflection. If you zoom in on the Offset Father's Day post, the flute in the foreground is doing more work than a flute should. There are two distinct figures reflected in the curve, one in a robe that fans have already cross-referenced against the Bronx Queen's loungewear line, one leaning against a counter at a height consistent with her frame, and on the wrist of the robed figure, fans say they can see, faintly but unmistakably, a band that is not the platinum band he reportedly placed on her finger during their hard launch summer, which means either Cardi B removed it, or it was never quite the symbol he claimed it to be in the first place. Either way, he does not survive that reflection. Theory 2. The Kiki vanishing act. Remember Kiki, the woman from his past life who fans had spotted in a matching platinum band, the one that set off the first wave of suspicion months ago. On Father's Day weekend, Kiki went radio silent. No posts, no stories, not even a casual like on a meme. Two competing readings circulate. Reading 1. Kiki was paid to stay invisible during the optics window, so the wide receiver narrative could not be hijacked. Reading 2. Kiki is preparing to drop something his camp has not finished damage controlling, and the silence is the run-up to the headline. Either reading is bad news for him. The first reading turns his entourage into a payroll department. The second reading turns his weekend into a countdown. Theory 3. The Migos reactivation theory. Quavo's club appearance with Cardi B was not a stunt. Sources I trust deeply in the Atlanta scene have been whispering for months that Quavo and the Takeoff estate handlers, along with Offset's people, have been quietly mapping a Migos legacy project that would honor Takeoff and re-cement the catalog in the streaming era. A feature on the right record from that project would not be a song. It would be a cultural reset. It would be a tectonic event. It would be the kind of release that sucks every other artist into a smaller orbit for a season. And if that whisper is real, then the red dress, the club night, the Father's Day silence, all of it is not a love story. It is a business prospectus. A merger memo written in the dialect of paparazzi flashes and stylist-approved leaks. Theory 4. The album rollout reading. Cardi B has been signaling a body of work for the last 6 months that fans have started calling, half-jokingly, the free summer rollout. If that rollout drops a track that references a father, a Sunday, a school gate, a missing ring, or any of the symbols we have walked through tonight, you are not listening to a song. You are listening to a closing argument. And the closing argument, in true form, will be delivered with an interpolation, a feature, a viral dance, and a chart placement that erases Stefon Diggs from the cultural conversation faster than any tabloid spread ever could. Theory 5, and this one is mine, so credit the channel when you screenshot it. The Playboi Carti subplot. The internet keeps trying to drag Playboi Carti into the picture, citing follows, mutual likes, a coincidence of names that the timeline finds too poetic to ignore. The Playboi Carti angle is being teased as a bargaining chip, but I want you to look at it with sharper eyes. Playboi Carti is not a love interest. Playboi Carti is a leverage prop. The Bronx Queen understands that the moment her ex-flame starts to feel comfortable, the moment he starts to think the Father's Day silence was temporary, a strategic Playboi Carti sighting collapses that comfort overnight. She does not need to date Playboi Carti. She only needs him to wonder, in the small hours of the night when nobody is watching, whether Playboi Carti has been dating her. And she is now operating in a phase where she can manufacture that wondering with a single mutual follow. You see the architecture now, right? You see how every piece in this puzzle is load-bearing. The red dress is not vanity. The Quavo club night is not a hang. The deleted photos are not housekeeping. The wave school visit is not a dad post. The Father's Day silence is not a slip. The champagne flute reflection is not an accident. Every single piece is a load-bearing brick in a structure that Cardi B has been building since the second she realized Stefon Diggs was not building anything for her in return. Now let me say something hard, because the channel does not exist to baby the audience. Cardi B did not lose this round. She did not break down. She did not get caught. She did not even have to raise her voice. Cardi B looked at Stefon Diggs across the open water of a public relationship and decided that the most devastating thing she could do was refuse to make him a chapter title. She refused to write his name on her grid on Father's Day. She refused to hand him the headline. She refused to let his burner page meltdown matter enough to merit a response. Cardi B let Stefon Diggs scream into a pillow on a private account while she handed her son a glass of juice in the soft frame of an Offset photograph. That is not pettiness. That is precision. That is a woman who has finally learned the lesson every woman in the public eye eventually learns. You do not respond to a man who is auditioning for your reaction. You simply move out of his frame, and you let his frame collapse without you in it. This is the part where Stefon Diggs is going to make a choice. And the choice he makes in the next 96 hours is going to define how this story closes for him. Option 1. He goes quiet. He deletes the burner page. He lets the Father's Day cycle pass, swallows the loss, and rebuilds his image from scratch with a publicist who actually picks up the phone. That option requires humility, and humility has never been the dominant note of his public persona. Option 2. He lashes out. He gives a TMZ ambush exactly the soundbite TMZ is praying for, calls her a name he cannot take back, and hands her war room 12 months of content. That option is, frankly, the one I expect, because he has demonstrated again and again that he is incapable of turning down a microphone, even when the microphone is being held by someone who is not on his payroll. Now let us talk about the people who keep saying she has been gone from this relationship for months, because that is the cleanup narrative his camp is leaning on, and it cannot be allowed to stand unchallenged. If she had been gone, the People magazine exclusive in May would not have existed. If she had been gone, he would not have been quoted on the record saying he loves her dearly. If she had been gone, the personal chef allegation chapter would not have been weathered as a couple. If she had been gone, the hair braider drama would not have been publicly forgiven on record. If she had been gone, he would not be running burner pages about her in the present tense. The receipts do not support the cleanup narrative. The receipts support a different reading. The reading is that the Bronx Queen kept the door cracked open longer than she should have, and the moment he walked through it with another woman in his clothes, she did not slam the door. She simply removed the door from its hinges, sold the hinges, repainted the wall, and turned the doorway into a window that only she can see out of. Now ride with me on this one, because I want to put a sharper edge on the timeline. The argument that she has been gone from him hinges on the idea that the relationship was already over when the natural body story broke. But the natural body story is exactly what triggered the public confirmation of the breakup. You cannot have it both ways. Either the relationship was alive when the natural body woman walked into the frame, in which case he cheated in public, or the relationship was dead months earlier, in which case he lied to People magazine, lied in interviews, lied on burner pages, and lied to the cameras for a paycheck of attention he was not entitled to. Pick a lane. Whichever lane you pick, he is the one driving in it without a license. And the moment he realizes he is the one driving in it without a license, the panic will set in. The panic has, frankly, already set in. The burner page meltdown is panic. The defensive memes about Father's Day are panic. The interview clips where he leans on the line, women just get like that sometimes. That is panic dressed up in a smirk. He is performing calm in the foreground while his operation backstage is making frantic calls to publicists who used to return his texts on the first ring. She is not panicking. She is in a robe, in a kitchen, in a champagne flute reflection, on a Sunday, with her children in front of her and her ex-husband putting a plate down. She looks like a woman who has slept. He looks like a man who has not. Let me address the critics for a moment. The ones who keep saying she is talking to her fans like we have amnesia. I will give that critique its due, because there is a kernel of truth inside it. The Bronx Queen has, at moments in this saga, asked her audience to pretend that certain inconvenient chapters did not exist. The articles in People magazine, the exclusive lines about reconciliation, the personal chef weather event. The way she publicly cleared the hair braider's name on her son's life and asked us to believe that the only thing he was guilty of was being a target. She asked us to carry that bag for her, and a lot of us did. So when she now arrives with the energy of a woman who has been gone for months, some fans, fairly, push back. The pushback is human. The pushback is reasonable. But the pushback should not be confused with vindication for him. Her asking us to revise a chapter does not mean he was right. It just means she is doing what she has always done, which is rewrite the script in real time and trust her audience to keep up. Because the truth about Cardi B is the truth about every woman who has built her career inside a tabloid storm. She is not interested in being fair to the men who failed her. She is interested in being effective for the brand that feeds her. And the brand that feeds her is the brand of a woman who survives. The brand of a woman who walks. The brand of a woman who comes back. The brand of a woman who, even when she is wrong, is the kind of wrong that sells out arenas. Her ex-flame does not understand that brand. He thought he could rent that brand for a season. He thought the brand would tolerate a natural body woman in his living room because the brand had tolerated bigger embarrassments before. What he did not understand is that the brand has a different relationship with embarrassment when the embarrassment comes from a man who has not yet earned the right to embarrass her. Offset earned that right in 1,000 interviews, in 100 court filings, in a marriage that produced 3 children. Stefon Diggs earned that right in a half-public, half-deniable 7-month sprint that he treated like a victory lap. The brand does not negotiate with sprinters. The brand negotiates with marathons. So where does this go from here? I am going to give you 3 checkpoints to watch over the next 96 hours, and I want you to bookmark this clip and come back to it on Wednesday. Checkpoint 1. Her next public appearance. If she shows up in a second deliberate Offset-era throwback look, the soft launch will officially have moved into the second act, and we are roughly 90 days from a vow renewal photo dump that will eat the timeline alive. Checkpoint 2. The Stefon Diggs next public moment. If Stefon Diggs gives so much as a 30-second TMZ comment, screenshot it, timestamp it, and bring it back to this channel. Because he is functionally incapable of walking past a microphone right now, and the next microphone he walks past is the one that confirms her victory on his own audio. Checkpoint 3. The album rollout. If a track surfaces in the next quarter that references a Sunday, a school gate, a duffel bag, a champagne flute, or a missing ring, you are not listening to entertainment anymore. You are listening to the closing argument of the most surgical revenge campaign Cardi B has ever run, and the closing argument is going to be sung over a beat that streams on every coffee shop playlist for the next 9 months. Let me leave you with the thesis, because the thesis is the only reason we have gathered here tonight. Cardi B did not stumble into a Father's Day power move. She engineered it, brick by brick, post by post, dress by dress. The red dress was the foundation. The Quavo club night was the architecture. The burner meltdown was the demolition of the previous structure. The Wave School appearance was the keystone. And the Father's Day silence, the literal absence of her from his feed, was the ribbon cutting. Cardi B did not humiliate Stefon Diggs. That word is too small for what just happened. Cardi B bureaucratically dissolved Stefon Diggs. She filed the paperwork. She held the press conference. Cardi B handed Stefon Diggs the box of his belongings in the form of a soft red dress and a champagne flute reflection. And the most devastating part, the part that he has not yet fully metabolized, is that she did all of it without ever once writing his name in her own caption. Drop a comment, because the comment section is the war room this week, and I read every single one. Tell me which theory hit hardest. Tell me whether you think the Father's Day silence was a soft launch of an Offset reunion or a complete cultural cremation of Stefon Diggs. Tell me whether the Playboi Carti subplot is a leverage prop or a real chapter. Tell me whether the Kiki silence is a payroll move or a countdown. Tell me whether Cardi B is rewriting the script or whether she has been holding this draft since 2023. Like the video, because the algorithm punishes the brave creators who say the parts out loud. And the only way we keep showing up is if you press a button that costs you nothing. And hit subscribe, because the next 48 hours are about to break this triangle wide open, and you are going to want a guide who is not on a press release payroll when the next headline drops. I will be here. You should be too. And if Stefon Diggs decides he wants to stand in the doorway one more time with a microphone in his hand, I have already saved a chair for him in the next breakdown. Until then, run the receipts back. Watch the champagne flute reflection one more time. And remember the rule of every chapter that has ever closed cleanly for Cardi B. The Bronx Queen does not respond. The Bronx Queen redirects. And when the redirection lands, the man in the rear view will not even realize the exit ramp existed until the highway is already behind him. One last thing before I let you go, because the comment section is going to ask it anyway. Did Cardi B love Stefon Diggs? Yes, I think Cardi B did. I think Cardi B loved Stefon Diggs the way a woman loves a soft place to fall when the harder ground has just broken her. I think Cardi B loved Stefon Diggs the way you love a chapter you have to write to get to the better book. And I think Stefon Diggs felt that love, mistook it for the whole story, and started decorating a room that was never going to be his. That is not malice. That is misreading. And the price of misreading a woman like the Bronx Queen is exactly what we watched unfold over a single weekend in June. The price is being the unnamed character in somebody else's coronation. Take a breath. Look at the timeline one more time. The red dress, the Quavo club shot, the deleted photos, the 2026 middle finger, the pendant for Blossom, the wave school appearance, the white linen Sunday, the champagne flute reflection, the silent feed, the burner page meltdown, the People magazine exclusive nobody knows how to bury, and the small, quiet smile that lives just under the surface of every Cardi B photograph this week. The smile of a woman who knows she has already won and is letting the rest of us catch up at our own pace. That smile is the entire story. That smile is the whole thesis. That smile is the receipt. So when the next headline drops, and it will drop, probably before this video has finished its first wave of recommendations, you already have the playbook. The Bronx Queen is operating 2 moves ahead. Her ex-flame is reading from a press release nobody asked for. Offset is in the frame because Offset paid the down payment on the frame years ago, in courtrooms and apologies and child support deposits that nobody had to ask twice for. And the woman at the center of it all, the Cardi B everyone has watched grow on camera since a strip club stage in a city that did not see her coming, is doing what she has always done. She is taking the room. She is taking the headline. She is taking the husband, the children, the legacy, the brand deals, the Migos catalog whisper, the free summer album, the keys to the new chapter, and the last word. And the last word, for the record, was never going to belong to Stefon Diggs. I will see you in the comments. I will see you in the next breakdown. And I will see you on the right side of the timeline when the dust clears. Run it back, drop the like, and tell a friend. The next 48 hours start the moment you press play on whatever the algorithm hands you next. Make it count.